Hey everyone, this is Flareon 350, Josh, whatever you like to call me or whatever. This is probably going to be the most stupidest decision in terms of Chips Challenge Let's Plays I've probably ever done. And before I get into it, just let me kind of explain my thought process and why I'm choosing what I'm choosing to do. At the end of the Ultimate Chip 5 Let's Play that ended about a week ago, or maybe a little bit over a week ago, because those recordings were done prior to upload, by a couple of days. The very last video, I asked for some suggestions on what to LP next, because I was stumped on what to do. Jeffrey, who was also the only person who suggested anything, for that matter, suggested two sets in particular. One of them was Never Stop Gaming by Eddie Lin, or Look at This on CC Zone. And the other was either Josh L or Josh L1, my very first level set. In terms of Never Stop Gaming, while it's a very good set and a lot of fun to play, as an LP, though, it wouldn't last, because the levels in that set are extremely easy, and most of them take less than 2 minutes to solve. I cannot think of one level that takes more than 2 minutes to solve, unless you screw up or die. But because of how short, and it's also a very short set, it only has 50 levels. So because of that, and the terms of the simplicity that the set has, it wouldn't last long as an LP, maybe 3 to 5 videos max, since I'm fairly good at this game. I consider myself a veteran of Chips Challenge, but make of that what you will. Now, the other suggestion, Josh L or Josh L1, it was very tempting, but I looked at the set and I realized it's not that interesting. I mean, my old designs, while I could criticize on them and kind of explain my design process now, it doesn't make sense. And because my old designs, you can't really tell. I mean, if you looked at Josh L or the first set of mine, and you looked at one of my newer ones like Josh L 5 or 6, you would think two completely different designers made those sets. But I can't really explain my design process when I was younger, when I first made that Josh L, because I was 17. I didn't know how to design anything. I was so hyped with the fact that I could design stuff that I designed a lot of stupid stuff. That's basically the gist of it. I was thinking about LPing JCC LP2, which I just re-released a little less than a week ago, as of this recording. And I still kind of want to do it, but I have this subconscious part of myself that is stopping me from doing it, because I would feel like I'm doing it just as a means of showing off, and I can't. There's nothing else I want to LP, so I might as well play one of my sets and record it. Haha. And I don't want to come off as the kind of guy that does something like that. And I know Jeffrey did something like that by LPing his own first set. But at least Ultimate Chip is interesting enough to be LP'd. Josh L isn't. And if you guys like to see the JCC LP2 thing, I could still do that. I mean, I want to, because, well, if I do that, I'll explain why I want to do it. But, yeah, definitely say something if you want to see that. But for now, we're going to do something completely dumb. And I honestly don't know if I'm going to stick to this right now. I would like to, but I really don't know. So the set I'm going to be LPing, and again, this is the stupidest thing I could do, and that is not CCLP4.dat. Now, before I get into this set, I must explain what this set even is. Not CCLP4 is an April Fool's Day joke from a month ago that we, the CCLP4 staff, created literally on like the day before April Fools. So March 31st was the day we constructed this. It was mostly assembled by Tyler Sontag and I, with some last minute rearrangements with the rest of the staff that was active on that day. The set is also meant to be intentionally bad. And bad as in there's a lot of hot blocks in the level, there's a lot of guesswork in the level, not the level, but the level set. There's a lot of bad design choices, so it's meant to be bad. That being said, it might not be the best thing to LP, but I think it would be very, very, very hilarious to do it. For both viewing sake and my own sake, for that matter. So, yeah, we're going to be playing this. And no, this is not Lesson 1, even though it looks like it. It is not Lesson 1. So the first level we have here is called James Turns into a Magical Girl and Uses His Wish on Infinite Chinese Keyboards. You cannot see the full title because my window size is too small for it. And I'm not going to extend it to be seen because that'll mess up the whole recording. This level, or basically what this set uses, it uses sets or levels from basically all the staff members' bad sets. Now, or levels they consider to be bad. Most of the levels in this come from TCCLP rejects, Josh L, and Ultimate Chip. Dat. Some of them come from Ryan's or Random 8 set. There's a few from one of Andrew Minzy's sets. There's some from Ben Hornlet's or Shane's sets. There's very few JB levels in this. I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 JB levels in this set. And I don't believe there's any architect levels. I think he's the only staff member that doesn't have anything. So most of the levels in this set is by Tyler, Jeffrey, and I. Ryan has a few, like I said, and at the time, Michael Warner has 2 levels in this, but they're both at the very end of the set. So I say at the time because I'll get into that at a much later date, or at all, or not, maybe not at all for that matter. So the hint says James kills a few witches and shows great potential. This is a TCCLP reject level that Tyler made. It's some kind of anime reference. I don't know. I know James is really big on anime, and to a certain extent Tyler is as well. I say to a certain extent because I really don't know. And basically this level uses the first 4 lesson levels into one master level. Now, despite being a reject level, it's actually a pretty cool idea. Of course, something like this couldn't be submitted for an official set like CCLP4, for example, but the idea of it is pretty cool. And absolutely nothing was changed with the exception of the pathways to the other lessons and that thief tile. Everything else is pretty much the same. And of course the actual lesson placements, because I believe most of the lesson levels from the original game were placed close to or in the center of the map. Whereas this one, obviously, that's not the case. This one's more towards the top of the level. So yeah, not CCLP4. I really don't know if I'm going to stick to this LP. Yeah, you can see the full tile right there, and that's a huge window for this. But yeah, and then level 2 is appropriately the next 4 lesson levels. James regrets becoming a magical girl and asks Kirby or Kyubey to change him back. Again, another anime reference, probably from the same anime, and I don't know what that said anime is, so don't ask me. So yeah, this set, I don't know if I'm going to stick to it. I would like to, just to say I've completed it, even though it doesn't really qualify for anything or really count for anything. Though I wouldn't really mind if this wasn't actually a CC Zone award thanks, considering it is a bad, intentionally bad set. And wow, I completely messed that up.
Bummer.
That was stupid. Why did I do that? Basically, I'm doing this for two reasons. One, somewhere along the line when we were constructing this, someone, or a lot of us actually kind of predicted someone was going to LP this. And the number one target for that, or position, rather, was Chipster 1059, because he's LP'd quite a few level sets over on his channel. And he's been kind of busy with life stuff, apparently, so he might still do it. I don't know. It's not really been confirmed, because he's active in the community, but he's not in the Skype BBC, which, if you're watching this, Chipster, you definitely need to get Skype and come on there, because you're missing out on a lot of stuff, especially if CC Zone goes down like it did for the past couple of days, or well, day and a half. Alright, so both those levels are done. Now we're on to Damascus Steel. This is the first Jeffrey level in this set, and I have to say, this level is not bad, and it's literally the only reason why, well, I'm the one that arranged most of the levels. Some last minute arrangements were done by, or were said by, I think, Tyler, but I don't know. I don't remember the details, despite the fact it was a month ago. But the only reason why this is level 3, and why it's even in this set for that matter, is because it's just a maze. It's not really a bad one. It's just, it's something easy to have in it. It's like, even though the set is meant to be bad, we didn't really want it to come across as being bad right off the bat, so to say. And this level is not really that bad, but yeah. And now we have my first level, Invisible Sokoban. Now, this level was, I think I just screwed that block. Yes, I did. This set also uses a lot of invisible walls and blob dodging. If anything, that is the most the set has of. This is just the first use of invisible walls, and Invisible Sokoban was actually a Josh L2 level, and was literally only made as a test concept, because really, a lot of Sokoban levels have been relatively predictable, I guess, to a sort of extent. And I wanted to use invisible walls just to be a little different. I think that's why I made this. I don't really remember my Josh L2 designing days, to be completely honest. I know a lot of the designs in Josh L2 helped my designs for today, but this level, I really wouldn't consider as bad. It's just an exercise of the concept itself. I mean, it's not that big of a level, and actually the Josh L2 version, not every tile is invisible. There were some thin walls that kind of made it a little easier. I changed them to be all invisible with the exception of those ice tiles. And yeah, that's basically this level. So it's not a bad level, but I know for certain there's a worse idea with invisible walls and block pushing later on. There's actually, I think there's maybe 2 others. Anyway, level 0 is level 5. I think this is a Ryan level. Or Ryan made this level. Now Ryan's designs are, and don't take offense to me saying this, but they're really, really weird. I mean, I don't say that as a bad thing. I say that because it's interesting. I mean, especially the levels he submitted for CCF before, a lot of them are really weird or extremely unique. And there's one level in particular that I can say is extremely unique, but I don't know how to solve it, and it's called the Big Crunch. It involves all these teleports everywhere, but a whole level themes around with the teleports. It's supposed to be like a, I guess, a dimensional problem, because it was a crate comp entry for some disaster themed crate competition I held a couple of years ago on CC Zone. And I liked the level a lot. I mean, I never solved it when I played it, but I liked the idea enough to give it a fairly high ranking. I don't remember the ranking. But yeah, his levels are really interesting. I won't say they're bad because everyone's design style is different, but they're really interesting for what they are. Anyway, level 0. In terms of the level order, I originally wanted to make this the first level, and we later decided to have the James levels. I'm just gonna call them the James levels. We decided on those being the first levels because, well, it made the most sense for what the levels were. And this level, all it is there's almost 300 blocks you have to push and get chips under all of them. I think one of them has a toggle button under it, and that's literally it. I guess you can say this is the toggle bust of this set. So yeah, why exactly am I playing this set of all things? Well, for one, again, and foremost, is it's just a means to laugh at myself and such. Error and invalid text is the hint. I think one of these has a toggle button under it. So yeah, this is all this level is. It's not interesting at all. But yeah, this is more of a means just to show I can do stuff that's not exactly interesting, but now there's the toggle button. So it had to be pressed to get to the exit. Anyway, I really don't think anyone else was going to LP this, and if they were, I really don't know who would do it. This isn't something JB would LP, and I really don't think Jeffrey would do this sort of thing either. Again, Chipster was the only person I could think of that would have done this, but even he, I don't know if he would have or not. But I decided to do it just because, why not? That's really the only thing I can say. And that is level 0. That took roughly half the time given. Not bad. Anyway, the village. Yeah, this was a UC5 level. So,
Bummer.
going through this a little differently than how I did it in that set.
Bummer. Bummer.
Yeah.
Bummer.
This isn't exactly a bad level either. It's more of a what-ish design.
Bummer.
And nice, I had the same exact problem with the teeth in that. I'll try to get the bold on this. There we go, that's the bold. Okay, too many teal walls is this one. I think this is the first legitimate guesswork level. Now, thankfully, since I obviously helped construct this set, I kind of know a good portion of the traps in this. And I believe all these, those recessed wall paths, all lead to dead ends. The real path is up here. And this is another TCCLP rejects level. Yeah. Can't really say much about it. This set is meant to be bad. I mean, I can't get any more specific than that. A world on fire. Ow, 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 ow. Nothing to it. Okay, travel bugs. Also something I played a long time ago in BHLS 1, the first custom set LP I did some odd years ago. Not that hard of a level. I mean, once you get the gist of it, it's fairly easy. Alright, Fire Mace. Again, another BHLS 1 level. This is level 10, kind of as a callback to Brush Fire from the original game. A lot of the level placements in this set are actually callbacks to the original game. Either that or some of the official ones like CCLP 2 or 3. I don't believe there's any CCLP 1 callbacks. But this is a Brush Fire callback level for why it's level 10. Yeah, this is all this level is. It's just collecting chips and avoiding fire. It's a fire maze. What did you expect? It's in the title, for crying out loud. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna seriously stick to this, and if I would like to. And if I do stick to this, I'm going to try not to use any kind of assistance in solving all the levels. That means no using maps or any kind, and even with an intentionally bad level set, I think because it's intentionally meant to be bad and not that fun to play, that's what makes this set a little unique, even though it's meant to be a joke. It's still kind of legit to a certain regard. I don't know, that might just be me, it might be my own opinion, but that's how I feel about it. And I just realized that socket is completely pointless. I don't think I pointed that out when I played this before. But that was so long ago, I don't even remember. I really don't remember that LP that much. Another thing about this set that's worth noting is it is actually Links compatible that we know of. There's no invalid tiles. In terms of gameplay wise, there's probably some inconsistencies, and unequal bits in level. There's some levels that have random force floors and blocks that act a little differently that we had to kind of tweak to make work in Links. But for the most part, it's still compatible. And so there's not going to be any kind of cheap, there's not going to be any kind of cheap invalid tile shenanigans. Kind of something like CCLP2 had. So at least this set doesn't have that to worry about. The worst this set has is the guesswork, the blob dodging, the invisible wall usage, and just in some ways the design choices. And even this level, for example, this level is not bad. It's just not that fun to play. It's just chip collecting and avoiding fire. I mean, I don't mind playing it, but would I want to replay it? Not really. Even though I technically played it a long time ago, but that goes into the whole regard of I played that years ago and I'm playing it again for the first time. So yeah, that's all that is to it. Okay, not so obvious. This is, I think, a TCCLP rejects level, and it's basically a maze. I think. I don't remember if there was some kind of dumb thing in it. And believe me, the levels in the beginning of the set are, even though they're kind of somewhat bad, they're still kind of easy. Even that too many Teal walls level. I mean, you could argue, yeah, that's guesswork, but I'm pretty sure all of us CC players who play blue wall mazes, especially the beginners, they would try every blue wall, and then when they find that open path, they're automatically going to go by instinct and follow it, and to find out that leads to the exit. Maybe not on the first attempt, but they would eventually try that. So it's a form of guesswork, but not really. I mean, there's a lot of different arguments you can go off of with guesswork. I mean, a lot of people seem to go under that if you don't, or not really go under it, but like if something's not clear to the player, not necessarily like try this and you're screwed, but if something's not clear to the player, it just took me back to where I started. Thanks, Tyler, for including that big loop that I didn't catch. Like, if something's not clear to the player, to some extent they would consider it guesswork. With me, I don't really call it that. I mean, if something's not clear to me, I try to find a way for it to be clear. And that kind of goes with the whole puzzle solving thing as well. I mean, there's just a lot of people have different opinions and can debate on what they... Oh, there's a ball in here. That's nice. I've actually haven't solved this level. Like, we didn't really play test anything for the most part when we constructed this. That's another reason why I'm playing this anyway. It's to kind of give some why did we design it the way we did. We originally were gonna do what not CCLP1 did, which was the same idea but with CCLP1 staff. They actually used good levels. We were gonna do the same thing with this, and there were a couple of ideas that we had in mind. And I am not gonna play this right now, but I'm gonna keep talking, at least until I'm done explaining this. But a couple of ideas we had when we constructed not CCLP4 was me and Jeffrey talked about maybe two of them. One of them was going to be basically a Josh Jeffrey set. We talked about having 71 levels each, and the remaining 7 would be one of the rest of the staff members. So one from Tyler's set, one from JB, one from Ryan, etc., etc. We were actually going to do that, and then I think JB's the one that brought it up, saying maybe we should include our worst levels. Clearly we went with that idea because we seemed that would be the better choice and the more hilarious one at that. So that's kind of how the whole design, or not the design, but the whole idea with this April Fool's set went. I think another idea we had, that Jeffrey and I had, was I would make my own version of CCLP4 with only my levels, and I think Jeffrey was going to do the same with his own levels, and we both released them at the same time and claimed they were the CCLP4. I guess technically we kind of did that, just not on April Fool's with our best of sets. But I mean, I don't know if Jeffrey considers his best of set to be his version of CCLP4, because I consider JCCLP2 my version of CCLP4 with my own levels. That's just my opinion on it, but anyway, that's besides the point. So we're going to stop it right here. I just want to finish that off. So in terms of sticking to this, I definitely want to, because I think it's going to be I honestly think it's going to be a lot of fun to play despite it being a bad set. But it's definitely going to be interesting, not just for me, but probably for the viewers as well. Like, wow, he's actually going to play a set he knows is bad. And again, that goes into the whole idea of, I already know it's bad. I don't expect good things to come from it. And that's honestly a good thing, because when people play good sets and bad things happen, the bad gets to them more easy. But when I'm playing an already bad set and something bad happens, it's like, okay, I expected that. So I can laugh at myself a lot easier. And that's honestly why I like this set, kind of, in a way. I'm just gonna stop. I think you get the idea. I'm gonna stick to this. If I have anything more to say, I'll say it in the next video. So see you later. Bye. Have fun with your daily routine, whatever you do. So bye.